Nick, you are a streamer under the_pinsomniac on Twitch, right? So twitch.tv/the_pinsomniac.
I think calling it a streamer would be a stretch right now, but yeah, I've dabbled.
Now, for a while there, you were streaming constantly, and on top of that, you were streaming what was it? Deadpool, AIQ, and what's that third game you have?
Oh, the very pretty one that June 1st I am completely tearing apart. That
Okay,
that game will never leave.
okay. And what game is it that we're talking about?
It's Xenon, of course.
Xenon. Okay.
You know. Ah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Nick. Like you have streamed. You're obviously into pinball. You're obviously into competitive pinball, and I know from watching your streams and chatting with you that you have a lot of interest in pinball rules and understanding maybe some of the more complex rule sets. But tell me a little bit more about you. What do you do for a living? What are you into?
I do a lot of automation. My job is basically make it so that this thing runs on its own, code yourself out of a job. Beyond that, I mean, I got this close to selling potentially AIQ. I haven't listed it yet, so that I could pay for my private pilot's license. I went up and did a discovery flight, and it was absolutely incredible. Flying in a little Cessna 152 and just had a blast. Went out and bought like pedals and a yoke for Microsoft Flight Sim, and jumped into that. And then I stepped back and I was like, it's just not in the budget right now. It's just I'm gonna wait just a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. It was incredible. I highly suggest it to anybody, even if you're afraid of flying. Go and fly a plane, because they'll go over a couple things and it will make you like more confident in flying.
So, if you were in an interview for a job and you were asked what your greatest strength is, how would you answer that question?
Oh, I'm honest and blunt, and if you're gonna ask me something, I'm gonna straight up tell you, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush.
I like it. Now, on the flip side, what would you say is your biggest weakness?
Now, I'm honest and I'm blunt.
Do you prefer Star Trek, Star Wars, or Marvel/DC?
Okay, if those three are the choice between Star Trek, Star Wars, and the Marvel multiverse,
Sure, I said Marvel/DC. I more just comic book, the comic universe.
uh, I find myself engrossed more in the comic book universe because it is more uh, realistic. It's, I mean, that's hard to say. It's more relatable, I guess, is a
Okay,
better
I like
term
that.
for it.
Yeah.
It happens in our world now. It's not a very long time ago or in the very distant future. But I have four words for you:
Okay.
Bears beats Battlestar
Star
Galactica.
Galactica. Got it. Okay. Okay.
Michael!
Identity theft is a real crime, Jim. Okay. What are your favorite pizza toppings?
Oh, this is fun. So when you say toppings, does that include the sauce, the cheese, the whole nine yards, or is that what goes on top of a tomato base with cheese?
I mean, I was thinking what goes on top of a tomato based cheese pizza, but I'm okay with you deconstructing and building it from the ground up. Explain away.
I don't care what crust you have, honestly. Make it a thin crust, uh, like a thicker crust, or like a Sicilian, like super thick crust. You put Alfredo on first, like your straight pasta sauce Alfredo, not like a white pizza kind of thing. Alfredo sauce, mozzarella, a little bit of cheddar. You do chicken, buffalo sauce, bacon, and then you've got just a couple uh, caramelized onions, just to give it that texture now and then. And it's It's fantastic. Jalapenos if you want something a little spicy too.
Um, what got you into pinball?
My ex,
Okay.
uh, we used to play up in Fort Collins and go to free play night at Pinball Jones, and I was like, it's pinball. Like, how much skill could there be? Like, just go have a couple beers and like flip around. And then kind of got into that scene pretty heavily, um, as you know, and that was kind of it. It was just like, oh, there's a ridiculous amount of skill in this, and people are completely crushing me. I don't like losing, which is
Okay.
why we're here right now,
Right. Don't
Alex.
like losing. One more question for you, totally pinball related. Um, what cookie is the best representation of you?
It's a chocolate crinkle, fresh out of the oven. It's got like the canyons because it's like all cracked, and then you sprinkle powdered sugar over it because they pull apart like brownies. They're like good brownies, not garbage brownies, and they're fantastic. But I still wouldn't describe my or like use chocolate crinkles. I'd probably go thin mints.
Thin mints. Okay. Do you want to give a reason for that?
Mostly because they're fantastic. They're best in the freezer, and they're thin.